Hello my loves, welcome to this beautiful tutorial. So you can see the style we have on the screen. It is super beautiful. Let's start making this dress. So you need a pattern for this, okay? So I folded my pattern paper into two, right? You can see I folded it into two. So I'll start by marking out a starting point. As usual, that's what we always do. So we'll mark out a starting point. Then afterwards, I'm going to mark from my shoulder to the bust point line. Okay, so whatever you have as your bust point, you're going to mark that down, right? So after that, you're going to come up by 2 inches, and that will serve as your chest line. So I roll out these points into a straight line. Remember, you're going to mark your shoulder to your bust point line. Right, so afterwards on the shoulder line, I'm going to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus ½ inch seam allowance to join the sleeve. I'll mark the same thing on the chest line. Okay, then we'll connect upwards, basically drafting a basic bodice at this point. The neck width I want to use is 2.5 inches. Now please guys, you're going to work with your accurate neck circumference. Okay, I have a tutorial on how to determine your neck width and your neck depth. This is a turtleneck dress, so you need to determine your own neck width and neck depth so that you don't have issues with the turtleneck collar being too tight or too loose. All right, I'll drop the link to that video in the description box. So for the shoulder slope, I'm coming down by 1 inch. The neck width and neck depth I use is 2.5 by 2.5. Right, so I'll mark the length remaining for my armhole, then I'll mark the midpoint of that point, then go inwards by ½ inch. Then on the chest line, I'm going to mark my bust measurement divided by 4. So my bust measurement is 45 divided by 4, that gives me around 11.25. So I'm going to make a mark at that point, like so. I'll make a mark there, then I'll add 1.5 inches seam allowance. All right, so remember your bust divided by 4 plus 1.5 inches seam allowance. Now this is dependent on how much allowance you like to add to your outfit. Most of us can add 1 inch, most of us like to add 1.5, most of us like to add 2 inches. Okay, I'm adding 1.5 because I'll use my lining to turn the inside of the dress, so I'll be left with 1 inch seam allowance at the end of the day. Right, so after that, I'm going to connect my armhole like so. Moving on, the next thing is to make the halter neck design. So from your neck width, you're going to connect from the neck width to your armhole. So using your curve ruler, you just make a connection or a slant line from the neck width. Now this is dependent on how you want it to be, okay? But I just want mine to just be like so. So I just trace from the neck width to where I have my armhole. So that would be the halter neck design that I would want to do. Right, so I want to use a different color of pen to differentiate this, but I've already marked with blue, so it's difficult to show the red marker. Now, so one side, the side that runs towards the armhole, I'm going to be cutting that on a lace fabric. Now, this other side, I'm going to be cutting it on the plain fabric. Now, I'm marking ½ inch on the two sides because when I cut out, I need to add ½ inch seam allowance so that I use it to join it back together so it will become a full dress instead of just a halter neck style. So, like I said, you can now use with the other part towards the armhole, you can cut it on a lace, any type of fabric that you want. Now the other side, you can use a plain fabric, but for me, I'm using Ankara and lace. Okay, so it's an Ankara and lace combo. To this upper part, I'm adding ½ inch at this area for my shoulder seam allowance. Then I'll cut out the neckline. Right, so what I did was just to cut out a normal basic bodice. Okay, I've not taken out the halter neck design yet. Now that I'm sure I've taken out all the pieces of paper that would come and disturb me. So this one is for lace, this one is for the main fabric. Okay, so I'll just go and cut that out. Now while you are doing this, you might want to pin this down. I had to fold my fabric into two, right? So sorry, my pattern into two, so you might want to pin this down so that it doesn't move around. Right, then pin it. You can as well decide to cut this without folding your fabric into two. Alright, so I just folded my pattern into two. I don't know why I did that. That's waste of pattern paper for me. That's waste of pattern paper, boo. We move. So I'll just go ahead and cut this point out. This is for the lace. Now what I'm going to do is to try to notch out the part that is going to be joined, okay, so that you don't mistakenly join the armhole towards the halter neck side. right? So one is for lace, one is for either a plain fabric or whatever fabric you want to use. But you need to use different fabric so that the design will come out. If you use Ankara to make both the lace part and the other part, it's not going to come out well. So you need to use different fabric so that the design will come out. Now for my Ankara, I'm going to fold it in bias form. Okay, so what it means is just folding slightly in form of a triangle. So that's what I'm doing. And it's not a full flare. You can see that the design that the model is wearing is not so full. Okay, so we're not going to fold it on a full flare, right? So I'm just tilting it slightly. You can see the way I fold there, just slightly like so, because the flare is not so much. Now, this is also dependent on the style that you want. Okay, if you want yours to be very full, you can now fold as much as you want. But this is the style I want. I don't want mine to be so full, and this is the style that the maker of the dress used. All right, so just fold it in form of a bias, but not so wide. Okay, so just go ahead with what suits your preference. Now, when I'm done folding it to how wide I want it to be, let's say I folded it and the hemline is around 24 inches. That's what I measured. Right, so if you don't want yours to be so big, around 22, 23, 24 inches is okay for the width of the lower part after folding. All right, so when I'm done with that, I'm now going to get the upper parts that I've already cut out. You can see, so I'm just going to place it, making sure that I am getting all the pieces together. Okay, I'm not pulling it outside of the fabric. I don't know if you understand what that means. Just making sure that I'm capturing everything that I want to cut out. Okay, because most of the times when you place some bias, you would mistakenly move it up and there's no fabric at that part. Right, so now that I have placed it, I'll just go ahead and also pin it down so that you get everything accurately. Okay, I'm also checking the under part to be sure that there is fabric there. If this thing has not happened to you before, you don't understand what I'm talking about, right? So after pinning this down, what I'm just going to do first is to add my half-inch seam allowance towards the halter neck design part, because you don't want to forget this. If you forget adding this seam allowance, you're going to end up having something that is choking you at the upper bodies, and you're not going to have ease around that point because you'll be shorting 1 inch from your measurement. Right, so I added half-inch all around towards that halter neck design. That's all. All right, so then from the end of the paper, you know that the end of the paper is your bust point line. Okay, so my bust point is 11. So what that means is that I'm going to place my tape at 11 on the end of the paper. You can see that. Okay, place it at your bust point line. So let your bust point, whatever you have on your bust point, get it on the tape, then place it at the end of your paper. Then you now mark the length you want. I want this length of this dress, okay, to be 39 inches. So I'm placing 11 on the end of the paper, which is my bust point line. Then I'll be marking 39 all around. Okay, so I just want to pull this up a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing. For whatever reason, I don't know how I placed the camera today, and everything is just somehow. But we move. So, like I said, I'm marking 39 inches. Okay, remember I placed my tape at 11, which is my under bust. So, sorry, which is my bust point. So, use your own bust point line. Okay, so I also do the same connection to then towards this side. Instead of marking 39, I'm going to mark 37. All right, I'm going to mark 37 because you don't want it to be just straight. You want it to be slanted, just like the way we curve the hem of our dresses. All right, so I'll just go ahead and connect like this. Now, guys, that is all for the front. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and start cutting. So cut through the neckline, then your half-inch seam allowance, guys. Remember to add that. Now, from the hem, I'm just cutting like so, following the markings that I have made. So, ladies and gentlemen, guys, welcome to my channel. This here is Learn to Sew with Noni, and guys, here on this channel, I upload sewing tutorials every week. So now, from you're going to get a long ruler or a short ruler, okay, whatever length of ruler you have. You're going to make a connection from this point to the end of the dress, okay, to where you have the length of the dress, okay, just like this on a slanted line. Okay, so let me get back to introducing this channel. So this is Learn to Sew with Noni, and here on this channel I upload sewing tutorials every week. So guys, if you like that kind of content, okay, just subscribe to this channel. and tell somebody, tell a friend to tell a friend and tell another friend. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. Ta-da! I wish I had the bell. I'd have, the bagram, bagram, bagram for you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Lenti. So I said it like 4 times. Why? What is wrong? All right. So, and to my returning subscribers, I love you so much. Even the new ones, I love you people. Everybody, welcome. I love you. Thank you for joining us. I love you so much. Thank you for all the plenty love. I see your comments. I see everything you do. I love you. God bless you. Now, for the part that we're going to cut on the list, you can see that's why I say you should label it. So I'll go and pin it down. I folded my lace into two because I need two pieces, okay? One for the left, one for the right. That's why I actually folded my fabric into two so that it's not going to confuse you about how many pieces to cut. Now, towards this side, okay, towards the part that I marked 1/2 inch, I'm adding 1/2 inch seam allowance, okay? I'll use it to join to the Ankara. And every other thing is the same. I'll just cut out exactly what I have at the armhole, at the shoulder area. Okay, only towards that part that I marked 1/2 inch. That is where I'm adding 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now I'll go and notch out that point. Okay, so that you don't mistakenly place the armhole side. Okay, all of them are on a curve or a slant line, so you don't mistakenly use the armhole to join to the halter neck design. All right, so that is just it. Now you join it like this, and voila, that is what it is. It is beautiful. So I'm just going to open this up and show you what we have done. Meanwhile, for the back, I'm going to glue I'm going to glue this thing back. I don't want to waste paper. Okay, we are not, this is management course. Okay, I studied financial management. That's what I studied in school. So putting it into my fashion business, so I don't want to waste paper. So what I'm doing is I've used gum. I want to hold this back together, so that I'll use it and cut the back. Wahala. Please, my dear, if you don't want to go through this hassle, I beg you, just cut a different pattern for the back. But for me, I just have leftover small gum from my uhu gum. I've just joined it like this. My sister, my brother, there is no wastage here in this Buhari time. So you can see I've just used the gum. And actually, I actually threw this away, the container. I felt that the gum was finished and I threw it away. So when I was now looking for paper tape, I did not see, and I decided to use gum. I pressed it. I pressed till it vomited the remaining gum it had inside. Hallelujah. All right, so I've coupled it back together because I want to use this to draft out the back. The only difference is going to be the neck depth, because the neck depth for the back is going to be 1 inch. Okay, so now I folded my fabric into two, just like the way I folded for the front. I folded on a bias fold. Okay, so this is the lower part. Then I'll get the front. Now from what I can see, let me even take out this lace part and keep it aside. So from what I can see, I don't have so much on the fabric, so I just have a little bit shortage. You can see the front is slightly bigger, so I'll just go and trim that out because I want the front and the back to be the same thing. So when I'm cutting this out, I'm going to trim out the excess on the front so that the back and the front will be the same thing. I don't want one to be wider than the other. Okay, so I'll pin it down. So I'm placing the front on the back, okay, and I've pinned it down. The reason I place the front on the back is because I want to get everything accurately, the length and the width of the dress. So which is why I don't have so much I have just a little bit difference between them. So I'm just going to trim it up so that everything will be the same thing. Now I'll get the pattern, okay, and just place it on top of the front and the back. Okay, I'll just place it on top because I need to get the upper part. Okay, the front part, at the upper part, it has the halter neck design, but I need to get the full shoulder at this point because the back does not have a halter neck design. So I'm placing this, okay, making sure I'm getting my armhole. The gum is just sticking to the fabric, I don't know. So you can see I'm making sure that I match up the armhole on the dress. Okay, I'm matching up the armhole on the halter neck design, okay, to the armhole, okay, on the paper. Okay, I want the chest line to match. Okay, so when you're cutting this, you understand what I mean. So I'm just going to pin it down at that point, or just hold it down, then I'll cut. Okay, basically just place the pattern on it, then cut out the design. Just cut it out following the pattern we have on the paper. Okay, so now that I'm done, I just needed this to get the upper part, so I can now take out the paper. Okay, for the back, then I'll then cut all through. So I did not explain this thing well, but I'm sure that you are seeing what I did. English is not my first language. English is actually hard. Okay, even if we went to school, the two more speaking, and and I try to relate. If I leave it, I'm no excuses. English is hard. So I've cut out the SS. You can see I now made the front and the back to be the same width, and of course the same length. Right, so I'll then go ahead and remove everything. You can see. So one is the front, one is the back. The front has a halter neck design, the back has full shoulder. Okay, so I'll just take out the front, then get the back. So what I did was just to follow the shoulder slope and the armhole, okay? I did not cut exactly the same neckline. So I'm just marking my neck width of 2.5 inches. Then I'm measuring my shoulder to be sure I have 8.5. Everything is accurate. So, and I want the neck depth to be 1 inch for the back. So I've marked 1 inch. I'll just go and correct it like this. So that's just it. If you want, you can draft a different pattern for the back. Then follow the same method we used, when we are drafting the front. But ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted this to be easy and fast. So from the neck depth, I'm coming down by 7 inches. And this is for the opening at the back. Remember that this dress does not have any zipper at the back, so we need to slash the back open a little bit so that my big head can pass and so that your head can pass. Your head is small, my own is big, so that your head or my head or our heads can pass. Now, like I said, I want to show you what this is going to look like. So I'm just going to place the halter neck side. The part that you notched will now face the Ankara or the plain fabric, whichever one you're using. All right, so you will now go ahead and join it. You can see the same thing for this side. Okay, so I'm going to attach satin to my own lace part because I don't want it to be transparent like this. I'm going to attach satin to my own before joining. Right, so I've joined it. You can see the satin underneath. Please, satin is interlining. For those of us that like to speak too much English. So satin is interlining, okay? You can use your doll face, your mirror face, your duchess, your silk, any interlining that you have. So now I also had to cut out lining for this. Okay, I like to line my fabrics, very, very important. I like to line them. All right, so I'm also sprinkling water on it. If you have a steam iron, you can steam press. I have a steam iron. You can see the long wire by the side, but I'm using generator, and the weight of the steam iron will just kill my generator if I plug it on. So I use this small ekere iron to iron whenever I'm working with Jen. So what I do is just to sprinkle water because this iron is hot like hellfire. It can burn your soul. Jesus Christ, no, it will not burn your soul. It can burn unburnable. It can burn burnables. It can burn burner boy. What is it? Can burn burner boy. Right, so remember I said you should cut out lining. No? So I cut out the lining and I'm reducing it by a half inch. Okay, because you don't want the lining to be poking up from under the dress. So you need to reduce the length of the lining. Okay, so but this burner boy thing is still busting my brain. Born like burner boy. See lines. See lines. So I'm going to place the lining on the dress. Okay, then I'll go and stitch it down with half inch in allowance. Okay, then I'll come and show you what to do next. Let me go and stitch it down, guys. People of God, I'm back. So you can see I've hemmed the bottom of my kiniko. And the next thing is for us to work on the upper part. Now, what I want to do is I also want to use the lining to turn this halter neck design, this part. Okay, I don't want to just, join it like this now. I don't want to just join it like this and people will be seeing what I have done. Everybody will just be seeing how rough the inside of my dress looks. You can actually just go and join it like this, but daughter of Zion, clean finishing is life. Clean finishing is bay. So we're going to do a clean finishing so that anybody that sees the inside of your dress will know that Jesus is Lord. So I'll flip the halter neck side like this, inwards like this, okay? Then I'll now place my lining on it. Then so that's where the lace is in between the lining and the Ankara fabric. Even the same thing for the other side, okay? Just put it inwards, okay? Then let the lace be in between. Just go and sew it like that. Okay, just sew it. When you finish and turn it, you say thank you, Noni. You say Noni, this is beautiful. You say Noni, clean finishing is life. You will agree with me that clean finishing is bay. Okay, so you can see I'm done, guys. You can see what this looks like. The back is looking at the front. You can see. Nobody's seeing where you joined the fabric and the lace together. Nobody is seeing that. You're just seeing something that is cleanly done. So this is what it looks like, guys. This is where just the whole problem, no, there's no problem in this dress. The whole work is on. Once you're done with this part, the dress is ready. Now this is the back. I also cut lining for the back. You can see that black tip poking out from underneath. That's the lining for the back. So I'm going to take it out. What I'll do is to reduce the length of the lining as well by half inch. Same thing I did to the front. Okay, I'll reduce it by half inch. So after reducing it, I'm going to open up the dress, then place the lining on top of it. Then I'll go and hem the bottom, just like I did for the front. Okay, place it, place the lining on the dress, go and hem the bottom. Then we'll now come to the upper part. Okay, you pull the lining towards the upper part, then we're going to sew this side, this upper part, the slant or the slit I have at the top. So I just turn only the slit, okay? Don't turn the neckline, just sew like a V shape, okay? After sewing it, you go and notch it and turn everything out. You see that the dress will be clean inside and outside. Okay, so I'm done doing that. I've also joined the shoulder area. Okay, I've joined the shoulder seam together. So make sure you iron. I'm ironing the V shape. You can see the V is Ving. The V is nice and smooth. So you iron. Very, very important, guys. In fact, it's not ironing. We call it pressing. You press so that everything is going to be very smooth and neat. So I've also cut out my sleeve. This is a basic sleeve. I have a tutorial on my channel on how to cut a basic sleeve. So just search for it if you don't know how to cut a basic sleeve. So I'll go and attach my sleeve. Okay. Then I've also worked on my what's it called? Turtleneck collar. This is the collar. I also have a tutorial here on the channel that shows how to make a turtleneck design. So you can see my loops that I'll attach button to. So I'll just go and fix my turtleneck collar to the dress, okay? And that will be all. So I will post the link to the tutorial on how to draft a turtleneck collar, okay? And also how to join it. So I'll notch the midpoint of the collar and also notch the midpoint of my dress. Okay, I'll get the midpoint for the front. Just get the fold it together, let the shoulder seam align, then you notch the midpoint. You can now go and fix in your collar. So that tutorial that I'm talking about has the sewing and cutting process of this cutting and sewing process of a turtleneck collar. So I'll just go ahead and fix my turtleneck collar and my sleeve. And guys, this is done. Like it have done. It's off the fire. You can see. So the halter neck, the turtleneck collar, you can see my loops. I'll go and fix buttons shortly after, and you have to give this a very, very, very good press. Okay, so I reduce the back length so you can see, because most times the back would just be longer than the front. So I reduced it more. I don't know why I did not show that point. My God, people should forgive me. So after everything, this is what it looks like. So you come in with a very hot iron, okay, and give it. It just reset the life of this dress, and you can see me, see baby girl, see baby girl. All right, so this is beautiful. So you can see I've attached my button and my loops. I actually wished I put a pocket as usual. I'm always wishing I put pockets, but you can see I love, love, love this design. What this is my first turtleneck dress. I've never worn a turtleneck dress. I hate turtleneck dresses. But for this tutorial, for this particular style, I think it's worth it. And I actually love it. So if you want yours to be a lot smaller, you can just reduce it. But I like the fit. I like how big it is. I love how it fits. So I'll see you in my next one, guys. You know I have mad love for you. I've got so much love for you. So happy holidays. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye, kisses.